John Candy's son was shocked to see how interviewers pestered his dad about his weight. Heart-wrenching. Chris Candy discussed what he learned from the new documentary on his dad's life. John Candy's son Chris Candy is opening up about how producing the new documentary John Candy, I Like Me, taught him new things about his dad. Chris attended at a special showing of the documentary on Wednesday, October 8th, alongside director Colin Hanks, producer Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman, at the King's Theater in Brooklyn, New York. During a meeting after the film, Jackman, 57, asked Chris to name one piece of the puzzle of his dad's life that producing the movie offered him. I was kind of shocked to see how interviewers treat him. Chris, 41, added, that was just kind of heart-wrenching. And I also could see how he got more frustrated, and he discovered methods to deal with that. John was constantly questioned about his weight in interviews and in the media. I learned through the process of this that he was so nervous about eating in front of people because of paparazzi, Chris added. He added that worry led his dad to have normal eating practices. He developed a poor eating habit where he'd be like, all right, well, I'm not going to eat all day. I'm going to eat at night. Chris continued. When I hear stories like that, I just felt so bad for him because it's like, how cornered are you? And you truly want in those moments, as his son or as his buddy, to be able to grab him by his shoulders and say, why the F? Do you have to do this? Just who cares? Have a lunch and get furious about it. John died from a heart attack in 1994 while filming wagons east in Durango, Mexico. In an editorial published last month for the Toronto Star, Chris reflected on his dad's life and making the documentary. Chris wrote that while working on the doc, which premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, he learned he and his dad had so much in common, including, most poignant was something I already knew, but this time it hit a little harder. He lost his dad when he was 5. I lost mine when I was 8. Speaking to people on October 3rd, Chris acknowledged that he didn't anticipate his dad would totally enjoy the doc. I think he would be uncomfortable, but this is a guy that didn't like to go to his own movie premieres, Chris added. But he wondered if his dad had survived, if he would have become more comfortable with time. I would hope that the John Candy of 2025, he would have worked on himself enough to be all right with himself. And then I know that he did love himself, he continued. But yeah, I think in that early phase, he probably would have been a bit uncomfortable with the entire thing nowadays. John Candy, I Like Me, which began streaming on Amazon Prime Video on October 10th, weaves together archival footage of John with interviews from some of his former co-stars and friends, including Tom Hanks, Steve Martin, Bill Murray, Martin Short, Mel Brooks, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, and Dan Aykroyd. Chris told people, I think the thing that struck out the most of me was the influence that his comedy had on comedians that I grew up watching. To hear Conan O'Brien talk about how he was such a direct impact, my dad onto him, and then for me to be such a fan of his, to kind of see the connecting tissue that my dad had inside the domain of comedy was really an incredible sensation.